Today we're going over the XLR 35DK5. Start out here at the front. Your generator is down here. Start stop switch is inside, but if that one were not working, you can always come out here, twist these open, and then there'll be a start stop switch in here as well. Just make sure you prime it for 5 seconds before trying to start it. In here is where your batteries are going to go. Just positive, negative hookups in there. Once you purchase, if you get the convenience package, we'll throw a battery in there for you. Coming along the side, your first door here. This will hold your first propane tank, just like that. So twist to the left to open, twist to the right to close it, and then you have your regulator here to switch between your tanks on either side. So whatever way this little white arrow tab is facing is what tank you're reading from. So you can see that this hose line feeds right into this tank. So if it was facing this way, you're on this tank. If it's faced the other way, you'll be on the tank on the opposite side. Then in here, you have your water bay. But first we'll start back there with that red key. That's your battery disconnect. When you can pull it out, that means that the batteries are off. So if I give it a twist, pull it out, that would disconnect your battery. Put it back in, twist it. Can't pull it out anymore, that would mean the batteries are on. Little light switch there for the front cap lights. Then we have your water bay area right here. Before you run any water, you're going to first come to your water heater right here. You're going to install your anode rod. So take the anode rod, put it in here. Tighten it down with a 1 1/16 socket wrench. Once that's in there nice and tight, then you're good to run your water. So we'll go back over here. You have 2 water connections here. So you have your fresh or your city. So if you're staying somewhere that doesn't have direct hookup, you'll fill up your fresh tank and then use your water pump to draw from the fresh tank to pump water through your faucets. So you hook into here, turn the water on, and that's going to start filling that fresh tank up. You can watch those tank levels from the inside, so as it fills, it'll be showing you what level it's at. And once that's full, you go ahead and turn your pump on, and it's going to start pumping that water through this system. It'll pump the water to the water heater. And then you have your city connection below that, so that's that direct water hookup. So if there was, say, a spigot on your site, hook your hose into that and then plug into here, turn the water on. That's going to run water through all of your lines directly, so that doesn't go to any of your fresh tanks or anything. So it just feeds off whatever pressure you're getting from your spigot. So if your pump is on and you're using the city water connection, that's not going to do anything for you. Your pressure is just completely based off how much pressure the campground's giving you. Sometimes campgrounds are pushing high pressure, so it is good to get a pressure regulator for the end here, just in case you don't want to blow your water lines out. Don't want to end up with any flooding. The one below that is the black tank flush. So when you're draining your black tank, you have the option to plug a hose into here, turn water on, and that runs water into your black tank, which is the holding tank for your toilet water. It's going to help rinse it out. If there's anything stuck in there, it's going to help push it out of your drain down there. You have your pole drains right here for the black and the gray. Gray tank is sinks and showers. Black is going to be the toilet. So this would most likely be for your front bathroom here with the shower sink and then the toilet here. And then you have 2 more poles under the frame right here. So you have another gray and another black. When you have them pulled out, that allows that water to drain out. Push it in to close it. And it is good to drain your black tank first. That way when you drain the gray, it helps to rinse your sewer hose out. Otherwise, use that black tank flush to help push anything that's stuck in there out of there. Other things over here, we have outside shower, hot, cold. You need to rinse something off here. Then you also have your water heater bypass. So when you're winterizing, you will put your water heater on bypass. I'll show you that when we go over the winterizing process. Down there are your low point drains. We'll also go over those when we talk about winterizing, because that's what those are used for. But back to the water heater. Once you have water running from either the city or from your fresh tank, this tank's going to start to fill up. As it fills, I like to leave the hot taps open inside. That way, if there's any air that gets trapped in here as this fills up, it gets let out through those hot taps. So just leave those open. Once you see water coming out of your sinks, smooth, there's no air, there's no bubbles or anything, it's just coming out in a nice smooth stream, then you know that this tank is full and ready to be turned on. This is a gas or electric water heater, whatever one you want to use. The electric switch is actually down here, right there, so you'll just flip it to on. Once this is full, 10 to 15 minutes, you'll have hot water. The gas switch will be inside. Just make sure you never turn this on if there's nothing in here, because you can end up heating that tank up and it can melt your water lines, and then you'll end up with more flooding, which you don't want. So just make sure that that is always in the off position if there's no water in there. Furnace exhaust right here does get hot while you're running the furnace, so if you have young children, make sure they know not to touch that because they will get burned. Maybe your tires, those will be checked. Lug nuts will be tightened down, and pressure will be filled up according to the specifications. And you have your power supply here, 50 amp. It's going to be a little twist lock. You'll line up the metal piece on your cord with the metal piece on the outlet there. And then you got your black tank flush here for that second black tank in the back here. Does the same thing as the other one, just running to a separate tank. Come around the back, you got your fuel fill for your onboard fuel hose. Fill that up. Then in here is the fuel hose. You turn that fuel pump on, and you can pump that fuel into, say, a side-by-side if you have it parked out here. Then we have your ladder, 250 pounds capacity on that. To pull it out, just take the pins out here, drop it down, and you're good to go up. Just make sure you lock those pins back in place to keep that from swinging down on you. You have the back door here. I'll swing that down later to show you how to set up your back porch. You have your back entrance here. Outside speaker here and here. And then you have two outlets for plugging in the TV. This is a TV mount, and then cable satellite right there if you need to hook that coax into your TV. Here's the other side of that pass-through. You got your manual awning crank right there for that back awning. Your manual jack cranks right there. And then here's that other propane tank. All right, let's head on in here. So we got your panel right here. We're gonna put some lights on. And you have your slide out controls right here. So I'll run those out. Start off with the kitchen. There it goes. All the way out. Into the living room next. It's all the way out. And the last one is the bedroom. And that was that slide out right here, your wardrobe slide. All right, other things on this panel, you have your tank levels right here. So as those fill up, say your fresh tank's filling, press the button there and the red lights will come on until it reaches full. Same thing for your black and your gray tanks. You can also see your battery level from here. So it's always going to read full when the unit's plugged in. Obviously you can tell because there's not actually even a battery on this unit right now, but since we're plugged in it says full. So if you want an accurate reading of your battery level, unplug the unit. Then you have your water heater switches here. So that's the gas water heater switch. Remember the electric one's on the water heater in that bottom left corner. But for the gas, just make sure your gas supply is on. Come here, flip it. It'll light itself 10 to 15 minutes. you'll have hot water. Just make sure you don't have that on if there's no water in there. And with the gas one, you don't really need to leave it on, otherwise you're just wasting propane. So once that water's hot for you, you can turn it back off. And then 10 to 15 minutes before you think you're going to need hot water, so like if you're going to be washing dishes, taking a shower, turn that back on, you'll be all set. Gen start stop switch right there. Again, hold stop for 5 seconds, that's going to prime it, and then hold start and it'll fire up. You got your awning right here, so if we hold extend, it's going to start running out. When the black valence is facing straight down, that's how you know your awning's all the way out. Try not to hit this other unit here, but yeah, when that flap faces straight down like that, that's how you know you got it all the way out. To pitch these awnings, just see this joint right here, you're just gonna pull down on it and that will tip the awning one way or the other. You can do it on the back side or on this side, depending on what side you want the water to run off on, but that's really easy. Other things over here, we have the max air control here for that fan up there. So if I press on right here, that's gonna twist open, turn the fan on. This does have a rain sensor on it, so it'll close if it starts raining outside. Press off, that's gonna close it and turn the fan off. Then we have your thermostat, so tap this to wake it up, and then tap 3 different modes. You have your fan speed, air conditioning, furnace, and back to off again. So if I were to run the AC, we go to AC, adjust the temperature. Right now it's in Celsius, so to change the Celsius to Fahrenheit, you just hold up and down at the same time. Once we get to a setting we want to use, that AC is going to fire on. You can hear it. AC runs through those ceiling vents. The furnace is going to run through the floor vents. Just make sure you don't ever put the full weight of your foot on these floor vents because they can bend, and we don't want your foot to go through the floor. We'll shut this back off. Breakers and fuses are here, so just press on the middle of the door, it'll flop open. Everything's labeled, so you know what each one does. It is good to take extra fuses with you just in case. And then down here we have your vacuum. So to sweep, you pick up this one with your foot, and then if you wanted to use the vacuum hose attachment, you can plug that into here, and that all is going to feed into the bag behind. It only comes with the one bag, so you will need to buy another one if you were to throw that one away. Put that back on. Go this way first. We got your keys right here. Those are going to unlock everything, so compartment doors and the main doors. With this residential fridge here, to learn more about that, you can take a look at the manual. Otherwise, it's just like one that would be like in your house. Pantry. We have your user manuals, some warranty information, and all that will be in this bag. Appliance manual, so stuff for that fridge should be in there as well. Get your tire pressure monitoring system here, which you can set up to show your tire pressures. It takes about 10 minutes to set up. If you follow the instructions, pretty simple. Got your burners here, flip the glass up. You got your panel light here, so up. It's going to showcase these lights in the middle, turns those lights off. And down is going to turn those lights and the oven light on. To light these, you'll push in, turn to the left, spark to the right, and that would light this back burner. These turn red when there's gas coming out, so just make sure you only turn this to the right. So just follow the arrows. If you turn it to the left, you can break the igniter. And this igniter does all 3 burners as well as the oven. For starting the oven, push in, turn to this little flame mark right there, and then you're just going to hold and keep igniting until you see the pilot light come on down there. Once you see that light, then you'll open this up to whatever temperature you needed. Just with trailer ovens, they're not always perfectly accurate with the temperature there, so cookies might not always turn out. We got your microwave here, just like one in your house, really simple to use. TV, fireplace, stereo, you got all those remotes right there. For doing the fireplace, this is electric, so if you wanted to save propane, and not run the furnace, I would run this. In about 30 minutes to 40 minutes, you should have this whole trailer nice and hot. So you just press here. You got different colors, different flame color, temperature adjustment, low or high, and then you have your timer as well for if you want it to shut off after a certain amount of time. But yeah, that gets hot right away. Then we got your stereo. Power on is right here. Then you have your speaker zones, A, B, and C. So A is going to be these speakers right next to it. B is going to be the speaker in the ceiling. And then C are those speakers I showed you outside. So you can see the A right there. So if I hit B and C, that'll turn all the speakers on. Turn the volume up a little bit. So you can hear it coming out of those ones, these ones, and the ones outside as well. This has Bluetooth if you want to connect your phone to it. And it also is wired to the TV, so you can change the source to display the audio from the television. Turn that back off. Got the little loft bed area up here. Got your carbon monoxide detector down here, as well as the LP gas detector. Typically those are going to draw off your batteries when the unit isn't plugged in. So if you don't want your batteries to die, take the negative end off. Even flipping your disconnect is still not going to cut the power off to this. So if you're not in here for over 2 weeks and the unit's not plugged in, I'd take the negative end off your battery. Otherwise that little green light on there is slowly going to drain it out. Got your garage here. All closed up right now, but you got the ladder there for getting up to the top bed and for if you needed to get to that bunk area up here. You got the back bathroom, pedal flush, and you also have the tank levels for back here, since the black tank didn't have two black tanks showing on there. So you have the front black tank on that other panel, and then the second black tank is back here. You have another max air fan back here, same way as the other one, on off, light switch, pedal flush toilet, so step on the pedal to flush it. Got a spot to put a TV up there. You have washer dryer hookups here, light switches all lined up here. And you have your awnings here and here. So you have the back awning, which I believe is this one. Yeah. So the one that is above this back door here. And this awning is going to be the same deal as the other one. It runs all the way out when that back black valance is facing straight down. Same pitching of the awning, just grab that little joint right there, pull down on it, and that'll tip it so that rain runs off. Make sure you always pitch the awnings though, because if you don't, water can pool up on top of the canvas and stretch it out, and you don't want that. GFCI right there if you need to reset your outlets. And then I'll go over showing you how to run this ramp door down and set up the porch. All right, now that we're back out here, you're going to flip these up, pop the door off. I'm gonna have to pause the video here for a second because this door is actually quite heavy, so I need both hands to run it down. So make sure if you're gonna be doing this by yourself that you're not holding anything, because it is quite heavy. I would suggest you use 2 people, but yeah, I'm gonna run it down. I'll start the video back up in a sec. Alrighty, we got it all folded down now. First thing you'll do, find these little buttons here, unclip it. That's what keeps these doors from swinging up and down while you're lifting that up. So make sure when you're closing this back up that you have those buttons secured, one on each side. Got that one off already. Then you're going to grab here, pull up. Just getting stuck here. Forgot to unstrap it. There we go. So pull up. Fold that out. And then you pick it up. It's hard to do with one hand. Set it up like that. And then you have this little foot here. And that's going to slide right in there. Clicks into place. Same thing over here. Fold that out. Pick it up. Lock that little foot in. Hop on up here. Fold your little door over. And then you got the latch right here. And you have these little screens here. Kind of portion off this section here. Just clip it onto the metal rail here. Looks like that. Same thing on this side. Just clip it on. Looks like that. So that's what the porch looks like. All folded out. You have your sliding doors here. You want to partition that off. Pulling down on this will unlock the doors so that you can push them out, so they kind of swing out. So that's what they look like swung out. But yeah, bring them back in. Just lock that back in, and you're back to your sliding doors. We'll head back into the main area. These do recline. Little black handles down here tucked on the side. Just pull up on them and they'll flop out for you. Bathroom, pedal flush toilet, shower, just like one at home, sink just like one at home as well. Nothing really confusing in here. The power to the fan is that little black switch on the top there. Head to the bedroom. This does have the area to add a wine guard gateway if you wanted to install Wi-Fi. You buy the box, gets installed here, and then you can install a SIM card to give yourself internet connection. Then we've got your thermostat for the bedroom. Fan speed, air conditioning. It does have the furnace option on here, but this one isn't actually going to turn the furnace on. You only can turn the furnace on from the other one. So that one's not going to do anything, but if we put it on AC, should fire up here in a sec. There it goes. Flip that back to off. Light switch on the wall. Any lights that are not controlled by light switches will have manual presses in the middle of them, like that. Same thing with these ones, little press buttons. Beds probably lift up. I got some storage under here. So yeah, you got those back tables for your garage area, and then you also have your vacuum hoses for that internal vacuum system. Exit windows, push out. You can prop them open like that. If you need to escape all the way, push this red tab all the way through, and then pull that red tab there and pop the screen out. Since this unit has a residential fridge, while you're on the move, you will need to have your inverter on. That's going to convert your batteries power over to 120 volts to power this fridge. Just make sure that this switch is in the on position. That's indicating that the inverter is on. That's going to send power to that fridge while you're driving to keep your fridge cold and any food in there not spoiled. But with all of that said, I think that covers everything on the inside. And I'll go over the winterizing process with you and also go over the leveling panel. Alrighty, to start off our winterizing process, we're going to come over here and we're going to flip this switch to bypass, which is where it already is. Essentially what that is doing is cutting the water supply off to your water heater. So that way when we're running antifreeze through, nothing's going to get into our water heater. So we'll come here, now that we have it on bypass, we're going to let all the pressure off with this pressure release valve, take this anode rod out with that 1 1/16 socket wrench. Any water that's left in here is just going to spill out over the side. Make sure that you've drained your fresh tank out, drained out all your gray and black tanks as well. We don't want any water in there. We don't want those to freeze, crack your tanks. Once all that water's been drained out, we're going to go ahead to run antifreeze. So you have this antifreeze inlet valve right here. What you're going to do, flip it. Flip it. Tight valve. And then you're going to pull out your antifreeze hose right here, take the cap off of it, stick it into your jug of antifreeze you'll have right here, and then you'll turn your water pump on. When we flip this valve right here, that's changing where the water pump is drawing from. So it won't draw from the fresh tank anymore, and instead it's going to draw from this end of hose. You just pull this out, stick the end of hose into your jug of antifreeze, turn the pump on, and that's going to start pumping antifreeze through your lines. So you'll go inside, open all of the taps up, run them until it's completely pink coming out of there. I like to do it one at a time because otherwise you won't have great pressure. So do it one at a time, open the taps up, hot, cold, run it until it's completely pink coming out of there. Make sure you get plenty of antifreeze down the drains. Do that at every faucet, every toilet, every shower. And once you've gotten all of that through, make sure that it's all pink. Then you'll come to your low point drains down here. Take those caps off, run it until it's completely pink coming out of there. Once it is completely pink coming out of there, that's how you know that you've got antifreeze through the entire system. You'll throw those caps back on, make sure that the lines are completely pressurized with antifreeze, turn your pump off, and you're all set. Just make sure again that you've drained your black and gray tanks out. Getting antifreeze in there's not a problem. And then when you're ready to camp again next camping season to de-winterize, you'll come back here, turn your valve back to the original position so that your water pump draws in the correct place. Hook into your city connection here, turn the water on. That's going to run that water directly to all the faucets and everything. Open all the faucets up, run them until it's completely clear coming out of there, no antifreeze left over. And then you'll go to your low point drains and open those up and run it until it's completely clear coming out of there. Do that 3 to 4 times to make sure you've gotten it all out of there. Once you've done that, you go ahead to take that water heater back off a bypass. Just make sure again you put that in or rod in, otherwise all that water is just going to drain out. But yeah, then you should be all set for camping season. Now I'll take a look at your leveling panel here. Press the power button to turn it on. Usually these will not run unless you have your disconnect on, so you want to have battery power for this to work. But anyways, pressing the front is going to raise the front. Pressing the rear is going to raise the rear. Pressing left is going to raise the left. Pressing right is going to raise the right. To retract anything, press the retract switch, and then when you press front, rear, left, or right, it's going to retract all of those jacks. So I press front right now, it's going to run the front down. So let's say you are on your truck, you just got off, pulled that truck away, and you're ready to level your unit. Just press auto level. Since I don't have any batteries on the unit right now, it's going to fail out, but you'll press auto level. It's going to run all of the jacks down, level itself out, 5-ish minutes, it'll be level. If you're walking around inside as it levels, it'll take a little longer because you're going to throw it off its calibration. But usually it's pretty good, should be pretty level for you. You can do individual adjustments by what I showed you here, just by pressing left, right, front, rear, if you weren't happy with how it auto leveled. And then we got your different modes through here. Auto retract rear will run all the rear jacks up once you press enter. Trying to get this to focus a little better for you. Then you have auto retract all. That's what you'll use when you're hooked up to your truck and ready to leave. You'll press auto retract all. That'll run all the jacks all the way up. Auto hitch, what that is it's going to return to the last place before you pressed auto level. So if you got to your campsite, pressed auto level, and then when you're ready to leave, if you pressed auto hitch, hit enter, it should return to the place right where it was before you pressed auto level. So theoretically right where you were when you got off your truck, so that way you have minimal adjustments to do to hook back up again. So that's what that one does. And then back to your main screen here. Hopefully that made sense. You can also reference your controls right here. It's all labeled there. Otherwise there are a lot of videos on how to do that as well if this one didn't make sense for you. Also, if any of this didn't make sense to you, please come with questions on your pickup date. We'll be more than happy to answer them. And then after purchase, if you have any questions, concerns, something breaks on you, call the service department. We'll help you out. Contact your salesman. They'll help you out. We'll make sure you have a great camping experience. But with all of that said, that should be everything for this XLR. Hope you enjoyed. Hope this was helpful. Again, if you have questions, please bring them. We would love to help you out. Hope you have a great rest of your day, and thank you for watching.